To Face for the Newsfirst team. I'm Niresh Eliathambi. Well, General Election 2024 certainly resulted in an enormous shake-up in minority politics in Sri Lanka. The NPP won in the north, in Jaffna. The ITAC lost ground considerably. That's the party which has dominated Tamil politics for many decades. And through this all, there are inroads to be made by other parties, both majority parties and, of course, the smaller minority parties. So, what will the political landscape look like in the next election, which is coming up in about 4 or 5 months? That's the local government election. And to discuss this, we have with us this evening Mr. Barath Arullsamy, who is the recently appointed Vice President of the Democratic People's Front. Welcome, Barath, and congratulations on your appointment last week.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me here today.
Right, so Barath, your party, the DPF, the Democratic People's Front, is a constituent party of the larger body, the TPA, the Tamil Progressive Alliance.
Correct.
Now, how are you looking at the political situation right now? Because, of course, the NPP has a stranglehold on politics in the country, but at the same time, that won't last forever. This, of course, is the nature of democracy. And as more elections come along, there will be opportunities. So how are you all looking at the next election, which is just in about 4 months' time, the local government election? Again, the NPP possibly may sweep most of the local government bodies, but what are you all looking at? What's the strategy?
Mr. Niresh, as we are well aware, touching on your point, the NPP government had a clear win, not only in the southern part of the country, but also the entire parts of the island, not because of their ideology. People had a large frustration over the system, so they gave an enormous amount of promises to the people, saying that they are going to bring a revolution in the structure of the government. That is a structure of the government in the sense in the administration. So people does have a huge expectation on them, and also in reciprocation they need to deliver the promises which they have given to the people.
Now let's dissect that a little bit. Now it's been several months since President AKD was sworn in, and more than 1.5 months since the Parliament and the Cabinet was sworn in.
Exactly.
In your opinion, how are they performing? This revolution of the administration of government.
Yes.
But in your opinion, what are your party members saying? What are your constituents, your supporters saying?
Mr. Niresh, that's an interesting question. What the revolution they are making in asking time, give us time, give us time.
But revolutions do take time.
The thing is, Mr. Niresh, no. The thing is, I do understand it takes time. But the thing is, what they promise to the people, immediately we will give a solution. When you go to their manifesto, when you listen to their electoral promises in their stages, immediate solution. So if we wanted now, say for now last Sunday, on the leadership of our party leader Mano Ganeshan, we had our Politburo meeting. So in that Politburo meeting, we discussed how the political trend has drastically changed within the ideologies and also within the mindset of the people. So people always wanted a change in the system, not just now just replacing one person, one MP with another MP does not going to bring any change. The business should reflect the idea, the plans of the ideas and the plans of the government, but I don't see that is happening right now. I'll give one example. Now what they told in this IMF entire exercise, once they come into power, they will renegotiate the entire terms and they will give a feasible and acceptable solution in this IMF. But when it comes to reality, whatever former President Ranil Wickremesinghe had done being continued by this government. So if they can't do that, if they can't deliver what they have promised, then they should openly agree, no, what we told was wrong. Whatever President Wickremesinghe did.
But Barath, in Sri Lanka and in South Asia, politicians rarely admit that they were wrong.
No, that is the reason they came into power. No, they said, we are doing a big Shramadana. We are going to be very transparent government. Up until now, the president as the finance minister did not give a plan for the entire resurrection of the economy. No. He came to the parliament recently after the Indian visit, just came and said, I'm going to import, allow importation of vehicle, and I'm not going to charge up until pay tax is not applicable to 150,000 till 150,000. So this is not a fairy tale thing. Just come and give some message and disappear.
So is it your have a contention that there is no big master plan, this is all ad hoc?
I don't see a plan, Mr. Niresh. They are collecting everywhere now. Say if someone reacts for rice, they will react. If someone reacts for their degree and speaker issue, they will react. If someone reacts something in fishy in social media, there's a reaction from the government. So you can't govern a country like that. Now, whatever said and done, we should give credit to former President Ranil Wickremesinghe. When he was the president, when he came into power, when he came into the office, he gave a clear plan. And also in the SJB's election manifesto, in the blueprint, they had a plan. Okay, until this month, we will do this. This month, no. Achieving it or not is a different story. But the thing is, people should know, okay, we are going in this direction. How we should do our saving? How are we supposed to invest? Are we do a double job? Are we going to how we can cut the costing? So on the government perspective only, in a household will be decided, no, Mr. Niresh. So if they do in a close room discussion, people will be out of clue what will happen next. Now still a middle class family who wanted to have their own vehicle, still they don't have any clue whether to buy a vehicle or not to buy a vehicle, or buy a reconditioned vehicle or used vehicle. I'm just saying a middle class perspective. Now recently I came to know there is going to be a 300% tax on a new vehicle. So can a middle class family afford that? So there are a lot of questions like lying vague without any answers.
So you seem to be saying that there is a lack of transparency.
Exactly, like the transparency is very much low in the present government. So accordingly, coming back to your question, now this is the high time as an opposition right now. We are educating the people. Okay, you took a decision, you gave a mandate, we should honor, because end of the day, people's decision now, people's representative or political party should always accept the mandate of the people. So if the mandate is given to NPP as an opposition, yes, we should accept that. And also it is our duty to keep the government on loop. Whatever they promise to the people are being delivered, or otherwise in the vice versa, we should also educate the people. Okay, sometimes you made a decision in a in a panic or an emotion. So this is going to affect you directly, your family, and the country as a whole. So I think in this coming election, if the NPP government does not deliver what they have promised to the people, then I would say there will be an incline in their growth, because I would like to recall when the good governance era, even though the present government were like multi-party, and they had control from north to south, similarly in a different party angle, Pohotua had the opportunity to capture all the Pradesh Sabhas in 2018 election. So
but there was a considerable gap between 2015 and then 2018. So
Yes.
so people had time to judge 3 years or so, and the performance of the Yahapalana government in those 3 years, and then of course the local government election came in, and the people judged and voted accordingly. But here, Barath, we have only, well, you can judge President AKD on the last 3.5 months, or you can not even 3.5, just a little over 3 months. And then let's just say that the elections would be in May, that's another 4 months. So we're basically talking about 7 months. But do you believe that's a sufficient time for voters to sort of examine the performance of the government?
Mr. Naresh, I'll just refer to an example. When you refer good governance period, we'll take a patient. A patient is going for his consultation. So he may have time. So if he missed this month, he can go next month. So doctor is not available, so he can talk. They had time. But in this case, now the patient is in ICU. Right, we are in a terrible situation. Like, people may say we are out of bankruptcy. No, we have got on a only interim period. We have time only until 2028. So we can't boast about that. We are in a safe hand. We are no more bankrupt. We have to pay the entire thing after 2028. So what is our plan? What is our economic plan? So when you are in ICU, the doctor can't say, I am looking for oxygen, I am looking for blood, I am waiting for the medicine to come. So you have to rapidly do everything. So this is the promise they told to the people. So if they wanted to have time, then it shows, it's reflect very muchly, they are not prepared to govern the country. So it'll create more chaos. So I would say, I'm not downgrading the government or blaming the government or the stakeholders of the government. I'm just saying, when you are delivering or addressing the people and giving a hope to the people, which you can't deliver, then it's a problem.
But Bharat, the people, the voters, they want quick fixes. They want a magic wand. They think the president should be a magician, wave the magic wand and the problems go away. And time and again we have seen our voters making choices according to this particular doctrine. A politician or a party says, we'll come in and within 24 hours we're going to do this, or within a week we're going to do all these things, and then the voters fall for it. I mean, prime example, the Sinhala Only Act, which was, my goodness, 65 years ago.
Yeah.
Mr. SWRD Bandaranaike said, Sinhala only, within 24 hours he will pass that into law. Meanwhile, the other side, the UNPs, they said, yes, we also want Sinhala only, but it will be phased in over a period of time.
Yes.
I mean, both major parties wanted that, but then people voted for the quick fix within 24 hours. And of course, he came in, he did it not in 24 hours, but within
very
a short period. And interestingly, of course, the UNP also voted exactly for it. So both parties voted in Parliament for it. So although Mr. Bandaranaike takes the blame or gets the blame for it, but here again we see this phenomenon where the people wanted this done for good or bad. They wanted it done within 24 hours. So it's not realistic, is it? I mean, any aspect of governance takes a little bit of time.
Exactly, I'm totally agreeing with you, Mr. Naresh. But what I'm saying is, I'm not talking about delivering. Now, you can't immediately change the constitution. No. It will take time. And you can't immediately bring a revolution in the entire administration system. That will take time. But people should know the plan. We don't have a plan, no, yet. We have only the promises, not the plan. So, referring back to your example, when this UNP era in 80s and 90s, few rapid actions which were taken, which is deteriorating the good governance or size of the governance as a whole, happened immediately. Now, since you are a senior journalist, you would have observed our parliament for the last 2 months. What are the new things which has been coming? They blame us. They blame opposition blame the government. So they were talking about educational qualification. Okay, if you want education qualification, put a committee and find out to register everything and finish it off. And for 1 week or more than 2-3 weeks, nothing positive happened. No new laws came in. So okay, they wanted to change the PTA. PTA has not changed. Okay, they said they will bring new law or new amendments for the like this entire media act. That is not there. So there are human rights perspective, that is not there. Okay, accountability, how many laws we have brought? No. So yes, we understand it needs time, but you have to tell the people, okay, this is what are going to happen over the course of time. These are the things that's going to happen, so prepare for that. Without that, if you keep the people on an imagination and if you do something else underneath, then it is a problem for everyone. So now the government should always keep in mind there are 3 important elements which the government should be very much cautious. Mr. Naresh, I keep on telling, I told them also in a forum, the NPP group, like there are some senior politicians there, but the new politicians who have come in, and the ideology differences between the NPP and the JVP and the government and the JVP. So they have to be very cautious on all of them are in the same page. Okay, 1. 2, their economic policies and taxation policies. These 2 elements are very important. If they screw in one thing, we are doomed. And third, our geopolitical understanding and our international relations. So these 3 elements, this government should be very much cautious. If they miss one of that, it is going to affect an average citizen of this country very badly. So that is what I keep on telling. They have to put themselves together and have expressed their plans to the people. Accordingly, we can go forward. No, otherwise, if they keep the people in a grey area, then all these anti-campaigns, misinformations, this mispropagandas will be put it in priority, and the good things of the government will be put it under the blanket.
Well, hold that thought because we are going in for a short commercial break. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
We live in a world of progress, but what if progress isn't reaching everyone? Millions of Sri Lankans struggle without access to clean water, safe roads and bridges to a better life. But you have reached out. You have touched their lives. Thank you, Sri Lanka, for making Gammadda the most impactful rural development movement in our nation. Gammadda, for the people, by the people.
Gammadda, building a brighter future for the children of Sri Lanka, one project at a time. 11 September 2024, providing water for 250 children of the Nikaputha Mahavidyalaya in Haldumulla, Badulla. 24th August 2024, a solution to a long-lasting issue, the lack of water, for 480 children of the Beralihala Junior College in Lunugambehera, Hambantota. 7th July 2024, a new library for the children of the Alutwatta Sri Gunananda Junior College in Udugama, Gaul. Gammadda takes the lead to ensure a healthy future generation for a better Sri Lanka.
For the people, by the people. Gammadda.
Welcome back to Face. We are in conversation with Mr. Barath Arullsamy, Vice President of the Democratic People's Front. Now, Barath, I'm going to ask you to graze into your crystal ball, if you have one, and make a prediction about the local government election. It is expected that the NPP would win the majority of them. However, could you make a prediction about the percentage of votes that the NPP would get, which of course means you are predicting, of course, the percentage that the opposition parties would get as well. So we saw in the last election the NPP got 62% or 6.8 million votes. Now, what about the local government election? Do you think they will be able to maintain their 62%, given that it will be about 7 months after the presidential election and about 5 months or so after the general election? So that's a bit of time, 5 to 6 months, bit of time, and people will be judging the performance of the NPP. So what's your prediction? 62%? More? Less? The same?
I would say it will be very less, because Mr. Naresh, this is unlike presidential or parliament election. This is an election which is going to directly connects with the representative in the village level. So it is not about ideology, it is about the individuality. So there will
but
be.
Bharat, now the NPP generally they ask people to vote for the party, for the NPP, rather than for the individual. That's what they did in the general election. And would you expect that same strategy?
That is the same now. If the NPP says to their party cadres or their supporters to vote for the party, end of the day in the local government there will be faces to Mr. Naresh. So in one ward there will be one person representing NPP, there will be one person representing our parties. So one party, like each individual parties will be there. So the vote casted not for the party, for the individual there, under the banner of the symbol, that individual is being casted with the vote. So I highly doubt, with the current trend with the with the people, the higher majority which was given in parliamentary election will not reflect on the local government election.
So less than 62%.
Less than, obviously it is less
but
than.
But how low? Would it be?
It's more, it's nearly 50%, but it is not more than 62%. I think.
So you're saying around 50%?
50%. 50% will be for oppositions.
Okay. So Barath, after the next election,
yes,
we will have you back.
Yes, definitely. We'll see how my crystal ball has worked.
Exactly, exactly. And who knows, if you hit the nail on the head, you might be able to set up some kind of consultancy
exactly,
on this.
So do predictions.
Yes. Now, Barath, what about alliances? Now, the DPF itself is a mix of several parties.
Yes.
Have you all entered into any negotiations, discussions with other parties to go along with them, or are you all planning to go, the DPF for its own? How is it going to be?
Mr. Naresh, now the Tamil Progressive Alliance, the TPA, has three parties.
Yes.
One, the DPF, the party which I am representing, led by Honorable Mano Ganeshan, and NUW, the National Union of Workers, that is represented by Honorable Digambaram, is also parliamentarian from Nuvarla district, and UPF, the Upcountry People's Front, led by Radhakrishnan, who is an MP from Nuvarla district. So these three parties combined together is the Tamil Progressive Alliance. Now we are in the larger alliance of SJB as well. We are working with them. So we are looking at the possibility in which areas we can work with them, SJB alliance. In which area we can contest as an alliance, TPA alliance, in the symbol of, we do have our own symbol, the torchlight symbol. Or otherwise, our party, the Democratic People's Front, has its own symbol, ladder symbol. So last election, I remember, in Kandy district, the party contested in ladder symbol, and they got a sufficient number of Rajya Sabha members. So we are looking at Rajya Sabha wise, the local government institution wise, how feasible and what will be the winning strategy for us to get more members to the local government bodies. So each individual parties are working with their district committees and area committees, how we can go forward. So accordingly, by mid-January we will be deciding in which way we are going to go forward. So accordingly we will be decided. So at the moment our party leadership has decided to evaluate the pros and cons in contesting in different symbols. Either we are going to go for a complete alliance or individual. So there are a lot of among so I can't speak on behalf of other district. In my district, Kandy district, there is a huge demand to contest separately. So we are looking at the possibilities, but the party leadership will be deciding how we are going to go forward, and also we are looking at to contest island wide, not to limited to only on a region. So now normally even for the parliamentary election we contested in Colombo, Kandy, Nuvaraliya, Badulla, Kagal, Ratnapura, even in Kalutura. So I think this time we will be spreading our wings to other areas as well, in the northern side and the eastern side as well. So accordingly we will make our alliances and go forward.
So in the north and east and the upcountry, of course you will go head on against the more the established, the traditional parties up in the upcountry, the CWC, and of course in the northeast, ITAC. So do you see some opportunities there with the weak showing of those parties during the last election?
Thanks to NPP, now this so-called controlled party, regional parties ideology has fallen. So that is a clear indication of the democracy. You can't restrict the people on a separate ideology. Now people are thinking, beyond that. So we, being the Democratic People's Front, we are like, we are always consider the value of democracy. People should actively participate in policy making. So that is the reason we are like, we are evaluating everywhere. We are in discussion with other political parties as well in north and east, and even in southern areas we are discussion with other political parties as well. So we will I think we will decide on a clear path by mid January, so that our candidates can start their campaigning little bit earlier, without last minute. So we do have a plan, also a national plan, how we are going to face the local government election. So we are quite confident that this time we will get more number of seats than the last time.
Now, Barath, what do you think the main issues will be in the local government election? Now, you mentioned the IMF agreement, but in the end, to most people in this country, that's sort of an academic exercise. They are more interested in what directly affects them.
Exactly.
So, do you see perhaps the cost of living as being the main issue? What are the other issues?
Mr. Naresh, now when I told about that 3 elements the government should be taking care of. The second important element is the financial, the economic policy and the taxation plan. Now, I would say all citizens of this country should be incorporated into the taxation system. Leaving one aside and taxing the other will create an imbalance in the community. Now, for an example, I'll just take 3 presidents, consecutive presidents. When Gotabaya Rajapaksa regime, he didn't tax the people who got nearly 100,000, 150,000. And also in Ranil Wickremesinghe's time, yeah, they were in the tax pay tax thing. Then again, Andhra Kumara Dissanayaka's time, he is going to free them from tax. Now that will create a instability in the system of governance. You can satisfy a larger group, but others won't take the burden on themselves and run forward. Now I'll take a very one example. I was just listening to a presentation of Jafarji. He was explaining about this cigarette industry. Now already the cigarettes, yes, it's commendable that casinos are getting higher tax, but in the cigarette already they are paying 40% of the tax to the government. Now they are increasing 45%, and 75% of the revenue of the company is going for the government, and the Ceylon Tobacco company, being the only company to my knowledge in the market, they can impose the cost to the consumer. I'm saying consuming cigarette is not a healthy thing, but I'm saying, so few things which we are going to make the policies, this is going to largely affect the common people. So mostly, Mr. Naresh, if you take majority of Sri Lankans, they wanted to eat, they wanted to travel, they wanted to be with their family. If there is a festive, they wanted to have fun. So this is the mentality of the majority of the Sri Lankans, right? If that is little bit shaken, then they will transform into another level. So I don't think President AKD has the experience of President GR. How he was making bad policies and bringing down the country. So I think he should be little bit firm on protecting the common average middle class people or the below poverty line people. Increasing Aswasma or providing 6,000 rupees for school uniforms and school dresses will not resolve the entire problem. Yeah, it is a temporary solution, but we should come up with more valuable plan. So the tax system should be incorporated, a digital system should be incorporated. So all these minor small issues are being sorted, lot of big impact will happen. So I think this time president and the government should focus more on the middle class and the average people, and also you shouldn't tax the entire wealthy people as well. And if they if they are not taking the money out and going to bring it to the market, then the market will get collapsed. So everyone should be given in a equal pace to play, otherwise it will be problem, Mr. Nilesh.
Interesting. And now you mentioned digitalization, and that's something that President AKD and his ministers have kept on, they're focusing on this. But will that really work? Because in Sri Lanka, it's not about the actual automation of things. It is about getting rid of all the levels of bureaucracy and corruption.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
So now, for example, the ticketing process of the railways department is digitalized.
Yes.
You can buy the railway tickets on your phone. That's it. It's very simple.
True.
Within a few seconds, you've got it, and the ticket comes to
directly to your phone.
Yeah, you don't have to go and stand in line to buy a ticket.
Exactly.
However, even with that system in place, it's hardly being publicized. Very few people are using it, and people are still lining up outside the station ticket counters, and of course those tickets are very costly to the department itself.
That's true.
But they continue to go with this inefficient system. So digitalization sounds good, but if the bureaucracy doesn't support it, you're going to end up with such a situation.
Mr. Nilesh, I just wanted to refer India for an example. I'm not saying that is the best practice, but it is considerably in the South Asian context. India does have a sound digital economy. They are connected with one number, and for their loans or their bank transaction, their tax, their finances, everything is connected with that. So Sri Lanka, now if India being a larger population country, if they can pitch that among their citizens, Sri Lanka with 20 million people, it's not a big exercise. We can start somewhere. Now I can say this digital payment system. Now I think President AKD's visit also, he had agreed that he is going to integrate their UPI system to Sri Lankan system. But beforehand, Mr. Nilesh, I would say people now, you are correct, even though the system is in place, people are not much aware about that. I don't say this fuel QR code system is not a classic example for digitalization, but it is a hint that people use that system.
Well, when they are forced to use it, when there is no alternative,
exactly,
then they will use it.
What I would say, this digitalization system also should take in a place where you in a way in which you should enforce them. Otherwise, in banks, now once this CDM machine comes in, I do see a lot of people rather going and waiting in the queues, they instantly use the CDM machines,
the cash deposit machines.
Yeah, even in urban areas, in some remote areas as well. So, right, even by help of the bank officer, they are depositing it. So what I am saying is, people should update themselves, and we should allow the administration to get themselves updated. If they wanted to have the old filing system and taking up and down, we can't have a efficiency. Now most of the Sri Lanka, we talk about investments, we talk about FDIs and multinational companies coming into Sri Lanka, but they don't come because our system of governance are so vague. Now we do have big land problems. Now if an investor comes in and if he wanted to purchase a land or say have a land to himself or for the company, it's a big exercise. In that exercise itself he will go. And coming back, the labor issues. Now in my thing, during the collective agreement time in the plantation sector, after the unions and the companies abrogated the collective agreement, resorting legal remedy or the Employment Act was a big challenge for us because there is no law. So this digitalization system should go hand in hand with the present administration restructuring, and also it should enforce in many structures.
Now, Barath, one final question, because we are almost out of time, unfortunately. Now these processes, restructuring, digitalization and so on, will enough of it be done by April or May to have any impact on the local government election?
As I said, now digitalization is a long-term process, Mr. Niresh. As I said earlier, if the government need to prevail the confidence which the people had on them during the presidential and the parliamentary election time, they should state the plan to the people.
So it's the plan, the
yes,
concrete plan, the time plan of this,
the time
which
plan
matters.
with the effects and the disadvantages and what are the hardships, everything they should put it out to the people. If they were going to do politics like traditional parties which they blamed earlier, and if they came into power, if they play the same game with this our citizen, then our general public will think otherwise. So this is the reason I said this the opposition of the country has a chance in this upcoming local government election. They can pitch for another 50% increase in their vote base, or they can even capture few local government bodies. Having said that, so the government first, they should solve their internal problems, and they should have a proper communication with the people. 1, 2, there is nothing to stop them at the moment now. NPP government can't give excuses. They have got the mandate of the people. People are even though they are ready to take a hit and go forward if the country is going in a clear direction. And all the houses, especially the media and all the supporting agencies, international bodies are ready to work with the government. And also,
so no excuses.
No excuses at all. So I think this is the high time. I think in 2025 will be a crucial year for us, and IMF and all this our international creditors will be observing the government from January to June. So they should deliver what they have promised to the people. So if they fail to do so, the same people who gave the mandate, the same people who throughout the
the last two governments,
it's easy peasy for them to replace NPP with another. So they should be very cautious. And as an opposition and as a minority party, we are always with the people to safeguard their rights and their development. So unlike I told in many instances also, unlike other opposition or opposition people who were in the opposition technically, we are not going to do the blame game here. We are ready to work with the government, and if in now say for instance I am into plantation, in specific aspect in the plantation development, uplifting their life, we are ready to work with the government by sharing our insights and ideas. So if they just keep quiet and just tell some every week they have a story, in that story if they run the governance, then it will be a problem. By March they will face a huge financial crisis and also social crisis.
And on that note, I'm afraid we must leave you. My thanks to Mr. Barath Arullsamy, Vice President of the DPF. Thank you very much for being with us, Barath.
Thank you very much, Mr. Naresh, and I convey my wishes for the new year as well.
And to you, of course. And of course, to you at home, thank you very much for watching. Don't go away because the news is coming up next. Have a good evening.